How did you find Celeste in the first place, though, Isaac? Like, what did you just wind up finding it on Steam, or did you have a friend recommend it to you, or what?
I think I saw it on some YouTube video and I just thought the movement looked cool, so I was interested. And I saw it was like pretty well received. So I was like, yeah, why not give it a try? I didn't really know what it was at the time, but
Like one of the
told me that it was like a platformer.
Game Maker's Toolkit videos or something like that?
It might have been. I'm not sure. I can't remember what video it was, but
Hmm. I just remember that
yeah.
being a pretty long one, like video essay about how they made the game with the movement in mind and all the
I've
nice
definitely
little
seen that
mechanics.
video.
Mhm.
It's a good video.
And then you just like see it and then immediately go to buying it and playing it. Because for me personally, I just saw it on the a winter sale for Steam, Christmas 2019 ish. I bought it then and I didn't play it for half a year.
Yeah, I don't think I bought it immediately, but I kept it on my mind because I was like kind of starting to branch out from just playing Rocket League all the time. And I
Oh,
wanted to start playing like actually good games instead. So
actually, good games over Rocket League. Unfortunate.
Ac-
How
so yeah,
much
I
Rocket
picked
League
it
had you
up.
played before it? Then, like, had you been taking it
Uh
seriously or what?
yeah, I already had over 2,000 hours in Rocket League
Hmm.
at that point.
And like, what rank were you at? Because it's like champs and grand champs are the two that are really high up there, right? Had you made it to
I,
that
I'd
point
been
or
I've
not
been
quite?
Grand Champ for a while at that point, I
Ooh,
think.
nice.
They added new ranks since then. I haven't got those, but
Oh,
yeah.
what do they call
I,
it at that point? Is it just like equivalent to Challenger or like Radiant or whatever other stuff other games
yeah,
do?
so when I played a lot, Grand Champion was the highest. But then they added like extra tiers of Grand Champion and then another rank on top of that. Like after I kind of stopped grinding the game and I just haven't been bothered to try and get back into
Fair.
it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've been pretty clearly busy taking other stuff pretty
Yeah.
seriously here. You know,
I
25
still
any
have
percent
more
is no
hours there
small.
in Rocket League than Celeste though.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I guess that is really surprising. I don't think because with everybody who's had the 80% world record over time, I think the person who's probably had the least hours doing it may have been like Marlin. Because I'm pretty sure there was something about how he had a really small hour count for getting the world record.
Kind of like what
Also,
Secure Account is doing now.
Yeah, that's been a wild ride watching that happen, and they're
Yeah.
streaming now as well. So I didn't realize that until like I think last night actually is when I saw Secure Account streaming for the first time. But he's done a few over
oh,
the past few weeks.
does he actually stream 80%? I have not seen a
Yeah,
single
it's
80%
it's
stream.
not common streams, but yeah, it's just Secure
Yeah.
Account is the Twitch username as well.
He streamed
Yeah,
a lot of the 5B grind.
yeah, I was watching the 5B grind because that was also during an hour that I couldn't watch it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's speaking of 5B grind, sub 2, that was such a crazy barrier to be broken.
Yeah.
Like
That
it's
was wild.
just I remember when I was grinding 5B, I wound up with like way back when I was actually doing the ILs, like a early mid 2021, I think. So that's about a year and a half ago now. I got a 208 at the time, 208.6, and that was third place. And I think first was still only like a 206 or 207. It just seemed so completely obscene to have like sub 2 ever happen back then. But here we are. As with all barriers and all times, they do eventually go down like that. Like 25.
Yeah.
I started when it was 2657, just recently from Marlin, I think. And 25, it just seemed like basically impossible from that perspective. But here we are, a day after it happened. Huge congratulations on that again here.
Thank you. Yeah, I started at a similar time actually. I think my
And
first exposure to Celeste speedrunning was like the grind to 26 from TGH and Marlin.
that was a great grind. I already played the game for like half a year. This is so, at least this is so sad. But yeah, it was a great.
Boomer
I'm not that
Tiyo.
much of. I'm not that much.
Been
of a
here
boomer.
forever, old man.
But yeah, was a great grind watching it. And the funniest thing was, I think, that he got it on April 1st. I think was it?
It was
Oh
fake.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
April Fool's
And-
Day. Everybody thought he was lying.
Yeah, and it was like an offline one, and he posted on Twitter that he was gonna restream it.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was
Oh my
like,
god.
or like half of the people thought it was.
It's so legendary.
Incredible, truly. Yeah, since we haven't run the intro yet, welcome to the Peak Performance Podcast. In case it wasn't obvious, we are featuring Isaactayy with his very recent 25 any percent world record. So thank you for coming on, Isaac.
Yeah, surely we will just have it, just cut an intro at the beginning as well.
Yeah, you know, wherever.
Surely.
This is basically the intro. We do it 5 minutes in or whenever. It doesn't matter. We've been talking enough. It's been interesting. But yeah. When did you first think that you actually had your eyes on 25 for real and throughout the course of your grind? Because, you know, getting world record, had you already thought about it before you got the 80% world record? Because I think the Zcat had it just before you at 26:14, and then you got 26:12. Is that right?
Yeah, so I kind of went back to 80% with the goal of get the world record. I wasn't 100% sure whether I wanted to go for 25 at that point, but I kind of just said I'll go for the record, and if I still feel like 80% is fun and 25 is doable at that point, then I'll go for it.
And how long of a time was it between your first 80% world record there and the actual 25 now? I don't remember the exact timeline here.
I think just over 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, the 2612 was August 15th.
Somewhere around there, I'm sure.
Surely that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... It felt to me like you've been capable of it for over 2 months here now, getting 25, and you just really needed to find one of those faces to, you know, clinch out the ending. And there's so many times you came so close.
It's been like almost 2 months since the 26 flat, so
yeah. Wild ride. I can relate to that though, because with in a way, of course, I wasn't going for world record new minute barrier when I was doing it, but excuse me, but just going for 26 myself, the getting 27 flat on like 2 months beforehand, and then still having to grind it out because when I was doing it, the 80% tournament was going on, so I was still having to play 80% just knowing I was right there. Yeah, and then Tiyo, for you though, how did your 26 grind go?
My 26, like I know I got very quickly when I implemented 6B, because I played 6A until 27:36 or something.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were just throwing away 15-20 seconds pretty much at that point for a long while.
And the funny thing is, in that run, my reflection split in general was pretty bad. It was, what was it? I think a high 5.4x or something.
Oh, and you're 27:36?
Yeah.
So that was like all 6B time save almost. Like you just got to the point. Okay, yeah. That's like kind of like what I did with 7B, but just reflection instead, and a much more traditional routing.
Yeah, and then I got the 27:02 and the frame trap with TGH, which was very funny.
Oh, I forgot that you got that.
Yeah, and then it took 3 months after that to get the 26.
Always the last few seconds insurmountable.
Yeah, I didn't play literally every single day, but I but I still played quite a bit, and yeah. And the thing is, I don't think I even got a really good summit pace until my actually first 26 pace. I think the best pace before that was like a 19 flat or something, because everything was thrown in 6B beforehand.
And what summit did you get in the actual 26? You know, the final inevitable profnyan snuggle.
801.
So you really did have to get that on like your first first ever actual winnable pace, you got the summit to the end there. That's awesome. Or well, not first ever winnable, but first ever where you're setting yourself up to not need a sub 8 summit, which at that point when you're going for 26, getting sub 8 summit at the end of it too is very much an intense ask. So it's a little bit different with 25, I'm sure, Isaac, because like how many 7-4Xs did you get in your 25 grind, do you think, in like actual any percent runs?
Like I'm not sure, like quite a few.
At least you think like more than 10?
Yeah, I think so, because I mean my 26 flat and 2604 both had 7-4X summits, and they were PBs.
Oh
so
wow.
Yeah, it was. There were quite a lot of 7-4X summits, but never at the right time. Never when I needed them.
Damn. And I'm remembering watching live the wall kick on the 26 flat.
Oh no.
Probably one of the
tragic,
most relatable tragedies of a Celeste speedrun ever, having flag 1 problems.
I just remember Savadra said in the chat, if this ends up being a 26 flat, I'm gonna be very sad. He said, no, that won't happen.
That won't happen. That's not how, that doesn't happen.
It would never happen.
No.
But yeah, in general, you had so many really like good like I know you had one pace, I think where you needed like what, an 805 or something to win.
Yeah, I had the 1754 reflection exit, which was like completely absurd. Somehow I choked that before 1500 meters. I'll never understand how that happened.
Before 1500?
I think it was like
I think I remember
borderline into 1500.
Yeah, and then you died in the first long room, I remember.
Yeah, and then there was also the 1758, which was like looking good until 1500, and then I just had a meltdown.
Yeah, Summit's real tough, but it's also just
Yeah.
like one of the coolest chapters, I feel personally, and like, out of all of them. Like if I had to say
I
favorite chapter, it's across the board, pretty much. 7A, 7 ARB, 7A full clear, 7B. Summit is so cool to me.
I can't like say for 7B, but I agree with the other ones. Yeah, I love Summit.
Yeah, and also, what would you say? Okay. To be fair, that's an easy answer because it's 6B. But what would you say is the hardest chapter in any percent after 6B? If you think if you don't think it's 6B, then you can also
on pace Summit, but if we're talking just the hardest chapter, 5B, I'd say is after 6B.
Yeah, 5B
just because of how many tight windows there are in such a short space of time. Like you've got door demo, you've got the down left and central chamber, pillarless, all these like crazy strats all in one chapter, and the really short 2-minute chapter in that.
Yeah, super compressed, and like every room or at least every other room is something crazy like that. And then even in Mixmaster, where it's not necessarily tight strats, everything you got to do there is it's not like it's field based, but Tiyo in general, the difficulty is just higher. It's just more input density, and you got to be really comfortable with what you're doing there. So 5V in general is just like super tough. I can agree with that. For me,
yeah, definitely.
For me, I think it was like 4A for a while. I always felt Ridge was the actual hardest any percent chapter, but I feel like it drops down to like second or third more recently with how stuff has changed in 5B and 6B.
Yeah, I think obviously Ridge has a lot of very like infamous strats like second blockless, Jet Ultra, which are quite scary because they save a lot. They're very punishing and very hard. But I always found Resort harder to keep clean than Ridge. I don't know why. Maybe because it's longer and cycles are hard, but
yeah,
Ridge I found surprisingly consistent.
I think there is a point there regarding just length of chapter, and that Resort with how long it is just kind of wears you down. It is a lot of input density there as well. Because where Ridge is a little bit more spaced out, I feel, in the sense that you have these really difficult strats, but there's a lot of time in between where what you're doing isn't necessarily as difficult. So, and like there's a lot of moments where it's kind of floaty, with all the wind going on, and there's all these parts where you're just like doing clouds and bubbles, so it's a little bit more open and slowed down there. But with Resort, you don't have that. You're just going the whole time for just about 4 minutes straight.
Also, the movement is kind of dense, and if you like make one mistake, you get either you die, or I don't know, you for example, hub one, you cannot die, but the movement mistakes you can do in there, you can lose quite a bit.
Well, you can die, but then your run's over because you retried at Oshiro. Actually, wait, no, didn't Bubs get like a PB with the retry at Oshiro once? Any percent PB? I feel like he did.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I feel like I remember some time that like during.
I remember the 2 Bubstrop fails world record.
Oh my, yeah, because of Kevin Regami's tweet about it. I don't know if that's how you say his last name. I may be wrong, but OTDQ. Kevin's the sound designer for those who aren't aware.
Absolute legend.
Celeste. Yes, absolute legend. Love him. Beautiful man, wonderful beard, great voice.
Legend. First time he wrote my name, he did the classic typo.
That's where that's from.
He had no idea.
That is not where it's from, but it was just very funny, like, because the first time he wrote my name, it was Tiyo instead.
Oh my goodness, that's solidified it.
And he had
forever,
no idea about the meme.
That's so beautiful. Shout outs to Kevin. Yeah, any percent has changed so much just over the past couple of years. Watching how things go for full game, it's been a wild ride, and yeah, finally seeing what may very well be the last minute barrier in Celeste. Like, I think that's
no way. No.
I mean, not last minute barrier overall, but sorry, in any percent in particular, at least.
No, I still say no.
Okay, yeah,
I don't think so.
You don't think it's going to be the last one?
I think this game is still very young. Like, it's not even 5 years old yet. There's still things to be discovered. Probably there's still crazy people who will go for crazy strats. I think 24 will happen one day, but it'll be a while unless something crazy is discovered.
Yeah, I feel like the only way it's going to happen is if something crazy is discovered. Because even though we have been getting strats like the one in Ridge Start that saves, like 1.1 seconds, the Gilly's Ultra Chain, that was Gilly's strat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one, the whole that being new in 2022, like late 2022, is in any percent is crazy. Like, you never would have expected something like that. But even with stuff like that happening, I still personally don't feel like 24 is happening for, like, if at all, for a very, very long time. Like, it might be another decade, and it might not happen at all if there isn't some major change that like jumps things up by 10 or 15 seconds all at once. That's at least how I feel about it. Celeste is relatively young, but something else to keep in mind even with that is how I feel like how popular the game has been, how much little RNG there is, and that there is none. Everything is entirely determined by like how well you play, and we've gotten to the point where sum of best for community, sum of best for any percent it's just like 24.55-ish right now, isn't it?
Something around there, yeah.
Yeah. So if you match the best anyone has ever played ever over these past 4.5, 5 years nearly now, you still are only getting just barely under 25. So for me, it just seems so unreal to think about that now. With how good the practice tools have been too, like, it's so easy to practice Celeste. It's so accessible, and the tools are like just so amazing that I feel like there has been enough effort put into it that's thinking 24 it just doesn't seem like it might happen at all to me.
Yeah, and also besides while you're talking about the practice tools, it's also the case that we have so good practice tools, and it's so easy to time stuff that we definitely have like less just some obvious strats that are left. Probably there will probably still always be strats that save time, but it probably is less than in other games.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's always the thing that you can say where it's like, oh, well, there are always the task strats that maybe somebody will get good enough at one day with enough of those. But that's so it's like it very well could happen with enough time. You're right with that, Isaac. But I don't know. I feel like it just doesn't seem like it can happen to me unless there is some major discovery for any percent. And
Yeah,
I'd be very surprised, very, very surprised if there is any new major discovery that is even a time save that's going to be like 5 seconds. Like, I don't feel like there's going to be any more any percent time saves pretty much ever that are going to be 5 seconds or more. That, like, maybe there will be, and it's very possible that there's a setup, but it doesn't feel like it can to me.
Yeah, I can see that. I think for me, it's kind of finding more consistent ways to do like fast strats that are already known about. Like you see the crazy cliff face strats that are getting labbed and stuff like that. If someone finds a consistent way to do things like that, who knows?
Oh,
Who knows what
yeah.
could happen? We could see IL times come down, and then all of a sudden it looks like a whole lot more doable. But it's gonna take time for sure.
That's true.
Like Gilly setup is like an example. Like the Gilly set in 4A is an example for that, right? Because the stat is like a bit was known about, but Gilly just made it way more accessible.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's also the thing, like, yeah, like you just said about cliff face, just to clarify on that. I think we're both thinking the same thing, or the thing that was briefly called like task cliff face, where it's similar to task awake. You just like are ultra chaining through, like 4 or 5 rooms in a row, right? Yeah, so like if that can actually be made viable, I'm pretty sure that was in the range of like 3 seconds. But that still feels like one of the biggest things that may happen, if anything. I don't know. Maybe
There's always
there's something wild.
There's always the huge mess skip.
Yeah.
I want a copy of Bug Fables, honestly.
Somebody's gonna disappear those 2 pixels one day. Yeah. I feel free, anybody who's listening and knows that I've said this, to call me out if 24 ever does happen.
Edge prof.
Yep, go for it. I'm gonna stand on that hill, and I'm gonna be the person who gets called out for it probably, but I'm gonna stand on the hill. I don't think 24 is ever happening.
The thing is, like, the people that believe, they can't get called out because it might still happen at one point. But for you, it's way easier to get proven wrong.
This is clearly just my way of, making sure that I actually know when it happens. If it's a decade from now and somebody remembers, I have to ping Prof about this. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I legitimately don't think it will happen for at least a decade. I'm gonna go and say that.
Yo, okay.
I can see that.
But maybe, yeah, I can see that, to be fair. Also, while you talked about tested, I think I think some people that are not that familiar with Celeste speedrunning just don't know how stupid the Celeste test is, and what people can do. That, like, you can see that by the comments that I think everybody of us already got, and especially Isaac, that we play like Tess, right?
so far off. Like, you don't just magically get 4 minutes 15 seconds over world record, but like without having some super obscenely difficult and nigh impossible stuff happening literally everywhere. Because that's what it is right now. TAS is it's like right around 2143 or something. I don't remember the exact time.
Yeah, I think it is 2143.
Yeah, so that's 4 minutes 15 seconds 16 seconds right over your any percent now. And that amount of time that you can squeeze out is not, like, people would be doing it already if it was doable. Like, some of it, I'm sure there's a solid amount that can be taken, like maybe as much as 15, 30, maybe even something as wild as like 45 seconds out of TAS, but that's still so crazy taking any of those strats, just because most of the stuff that it does is like save a second here, save a second there from maybe some frame perfect demo that you can only set up in the way that it does, so making it fast by getting some like perfect subpixels that you can't do a human setup for. Like it's just not really possible.
Oh yes, I love like, for example, 1 frame float jump in the middle at the peak height to get the right subpixels.
Yeah, let me just perfectly adjust my subpixels by tapping jump for 1 frame, in like the middle of it's like a 2 frame window when everything else around that is already going to be super wonky and like, yeah, I gotta have this exact position. Yeah, no, so much is just not viable at all because it's not setup. Anything with a setup, it's just like tasks. It's also, that's a good thing to talk about too, is like how easy it is to use the task tools and how compatible they are with the game. That makes it so that tasking is like has gotten super super crazy good too. Like shout outs to all the taskers over time who have contributed and made it happen. But like the tools, the people making the tools, like they are super easy to use. Even as somebody who has like never done any actual tasking, it's very very easy to just jump in and use the tools for yourself.
Yeah, shout outs to the tasking folks, and also yeah, Isaac, you mentioned you wanted to go immediately for world record. From where did you start again grinding any percent? Did you really immediately think you will get the world record?
You were at like 2659 or 2658, right? Before you came back to it?
So I had the 2659 from over a year ago now. And I think around the start of this year I came back for like a 26-2x, which I actually didn't get at the time. I just got so burnt out on 80%. After being stuck at a 2632 for a while. So I took a break. I didn't expect to go back to 80%. But then I was like, well, I could maybe get the record if I just go crazy with strats and see what happens. So I went back. That was the point where I decided I was going for world record. I think I had a 2632 at that point. So it was still a bit of a jump, but I put in a big IL grind to overhaul my strats. My summer best was at a point where it was definitely reasonable to be going for record, so I just went for it.
Was there any like major motivator you'd say that stood out though? Because the way you're describing right now is you're like, well, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. But was there anything that like truly
I think I
stood out?
I was just like, yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to.
Okay, true. Why'd you climb that mountain? Well, because I could. To get to the top, right?
I didn't have like a specific motivator. I think. I mean, the whole time that I'd been running Celeste, it was something that had felt so distant, something that was pretty unachievable. But suddenly I had this thought that it was something I could actually achieve, and I just wanted to do it.
It was like finally within sight, like you could see the possibility for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And also you finish your sentence first.
Oh yeah, I was just saying like finally being able to see the possibility of some crazy goal or some idea, like again probably like for you all three of us at one point, 26-80% when it was the world record seemed so out there, like, oh wow, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. At least that's how it felt for me. And then improving over time and realizing more and more, wow, I didn't realize I would actually be able to get this good. I'm getting closer to it. It's actually within reach now. That's so cool. And like that is enough of a motivation to say I finally do want to make that step because of how cool it seemed way back when you started.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like, and you always improve. Like, for example, like the 26 flat, how you played there, and now with the 25. That is like that is also a huge jump, like from your skill that improved. That might not seem like a huge for if you just look at the seconds you saved, but you got like way more pace, maybe way more 25 paces the last like few.
Yeah, for sure.
And such.
Yeah,
like the consistency I was getting paces at, like in the run up to the 25. I was getting daily 25 paces into Summit.
Yeah, the past 2 weeks
I'd
or
had
so.
multiple 17s. It was actually quite rare that I would end a stream or a run session without having a pace into Summit, which is kind of silly to think about. And it kind of reminded me of when I was going for 26 the first time. I'd have my daily sub 19 that I'd tragically choke in Summit. But yeah, eventually it cracks. It's just about getting over that mental block. Because I think, obviously, I got the 26 flat almost 2 months ago. It's quite clear that saving an extra 0.9 seconds is not like and getting over that mental block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the more times you get closer, would you say that the experience you had was the more times you were close to it, the lesser the nerves were, and for like the times after it you kept getting closer? Like did it gradually reduce the nerves you had going into the later portions of, Summit or 6B or wherever? Or were the nerves about the same each time and you
I
just
think they
changed how you handled
were
it?
similar. Um, Obviously, when I got the crazy 1754, it was unplayable. But
Yeah.
like at the start, when I'd get like a barely winnable pace, like an 18, like a low 18 1x or something,
Mm-hmm.
there was no chance that I was going to be able to close that out. But then when I got runs like the 26 flat, which was an 1812 reflection exit, and I just got a really good summit despite all the nerves. Obviously, unfortunately, wall kicking at flag one at the end, but it was kind of a highlighted to me that my nerve control was getting a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nerve control is hard, and I don't think there is never just like easy way to just control your nerves.
Yeah, it is a
So you
skill you
Yeah,
can
for
like
sure.
actually work on, but I feel exposure is one of the best ways to do that. Just like having more times throwing yourself at that wall and then
Yeah.
trying to get used to that and handling it as best you can that way.
And always doing like the same thing and like being confident at it, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Having
yeah,
confidence in what you're doing is huge for approaching that. Because like if
yeah,
you have strats that you're doing where if you're confident you'll do this one, or if you're not confident you'll do a different one, and then you're trying to push into that in like a moment where the time save like might actually matter near the end of a run, that's not a safe spot to be in. You just want to pick something and make that your thing, be well practiced and be confident, because then it's so much easier to like when you get to that moment, know I am doing this no matter what. It is what I've practiced. It's what I'm ready for, and then just you got to execute after that.
yeah. If you practice it, why would you drop it in a run?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Because sometimes if you're going for quite risky strats and you're on pace and you choose to drop the risky strats in favor of something safer, sometimes you just mess up the safer strat because that's not what you've practiced, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
that hurts even more.
Oh yeah, that feels so much more horrible. It's like doing something where, like if you like there's this one specific example that comes to mind for me. The very start of Flag 9, you can do like just like a forward super or a reverse super. Those are pretty much the two strats that have stuck around for a long time there. And doing the reverse, it makes it a frame easier on the up dash, a frame or two easier even depending. But if you're doing the forward one, it's smaller window, but it's also like way faster, like 0.25 or 0.3 or something, because you're just doing it so much more immediately. So if you're used to the timing of one and then you try the other, you might think, oh hey, this is technically a larger window, but it's way offset from what you're normally used to if you haven't practiced both of those equally, which I still don't think is a great idea. It's because trying to build two sets of muscle memory is not really the best thing for having like I'd say solid practice and being ready to do like a run.
yeah. I'm always sad whenever I see people deciding to do or to like do a riskier strat or drop a strat depending on pace or feeling.
Yeah, I had a moment in the 25 in the first long room in 1500 meters where I backed out of the fast strat because I felt that I was too slow, and I had to make sure that everyone knew that I was not doing that because I was scared.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
was doing it because I knew it wasn't going to be possible to get the fast strat.
Yeah, that's something where like actually you do need to react to it at times, like having specific fast cycles where like you can know that you're not going to make it, or maybe you are so close to cutting it where you would just die if you don't. And then that's some like a time where practicing both like exits there actually makes sense, I'd say. But those you want those times to be as few and far between as possible.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely good to have a backup cycle practice, but most of the time you shouldn't need it.
You would hope to never need it,
And
yeah, but that's
yeah, and
backups
you
are
don't
real.
just go for that. You don't just go for that because you're on pace. You go for that if you feel the main strat isn't going right.
Hmm. Yeah, there was one thing
Also,
that. Oh, just go ahead, Tio.
I wanted to talk about the new topic, but if you want to talk also about the new topic, I will leave you the honor.
Okay, well, I was just bringing up some of the stuff that we were wanting to talk that we missed on last time, like this concept of positive toxicity that you mentioned. Like, I think you meant that in the sense of being overly positive, almost to the point where, well, you can go ahead and describe it. I'm sure you know what you meant.
Yeah, I know what I meant. Like sometimes when people just want to be encouraging, it kind of just does not help because the feelings you have sometimes are just like shitty, and like of course the like normally, for example, is 26 flat. Of course, you know it will. You know that probably won't happen again, or you know that maybe just some that it will happen at some point, and just people trying to encourage you more, that might make you also like more pressured into actually doing it, even if you don't want to. Like, for example, I know you're 26 grind, you on prof, I know that you honestly you shouldn't have done it because you had like no fun grinding for 26.
I didn't during the tournament, to be fair, but like just after, when I was doing it offline, I was like actually enjoying things a little more. But yeah, at the initial point when I got the 27 flat and the month or so following where I was still grinding, I hated it. I hated it. I should not have been doing it. I should have stopped so much sooner.
I think a lot of that was to do with the tournament though, because we'd all been playing 80% for the last like 3 months straight.
Yeah, it went too
And
long.
it does take a toll on you after a while.
Yeah,
But
you were
also
just burnt out.
you switched to 7A pretty late though, I think. Like,
That was
I think
part of
after
what
like
made me
5
enjoy it
weeks.
more. Yeah. I was playing
Like, I think
7B. I was doing that in the tournament.
That was legendary.
Yeah,
I think it was
a
like
good time.
the halfway point or so when you switched to 7A or something.
Mhm. Yeah, I did get my first sub 30 with 7A, not with 7B. For clarification, I'm pretty sure there, right?
Yeah, you got that. You got that on the beta, like
yeah,
quite a long time before the 80% tournament, I think.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
yeah, it was on the beta,
So
definitely.
I got it on the beta, and that was probably like January, February, and then I stopped playing 80% after that, and so I had the unverifiable sub 30 in a sense, just because it was on the beta. We didn't really, with all the different patches, we didn't really follow through with keeping any of those so much. But eventually, then the one where I was actually first verifiable sub 30 was on 7B. So I had played with 7B when I came back through, like, I got like a 31, 30, 29, 28. Then my first 28, that's what it was. My first 28 was with 7B. And that was the point where I finally swapped over in the middle of the tournament to doing 7A. And it shot down, my time shot down so fast, because that's like throwing away basically a minute playing 7B.
Yeah.
That was very silly. But I enjoyed it a little bit more because of that, I think, just because I loved 7B so much as a level that I like almost always was looking forward to it in a way, just because of it being unconventional and like the prospect of doing well there where nobody else would have considered it, even though it was obviously just like, if you're trying to think, oh, you want to be the most efficient and PV as well as you can, as soon as you can, it's not efficient that way, but it was efficient in the sense I was having a good time.
Like you were throwing time wise.
Absolutely. We can't deny that for a second. Absolutely was throwing, but I had a good time, and that was what I was there for at that point. So I kind of wish I stuck with that similar mentality for that, going for, like, if I was able to, going for 26, or just dropping out of going for 26 and doing something else I would enjoy more. But hindsight's 2020 and all that. I'm sure we've all learned from mistakes like that. Burning yourself out sucks, and doing what you enjoy is always better.
Yeah, and
how do you feel? Actually, that's a good point. Sorry to cut you off here, Tiyo, but how did you feel regarding like Burnout and your recent grind for 25? Were you pushing through Burnout here, you think, Isaac? or were you still having that fire enough where it wasn't like horrible? I don't know how to describe it exactly, but you get my point. How did it feel pushing through and continuing to play here despite all the setbacks?
It definitely was difficult at times to keep going with 80%. Like there were times where I definitely just did not want to play 80%. I wanted to play anything else, but I think ultimately I just wanted to have a good ending to the 80% grind. Um, Maybe I pushed through a bit of burnout, but I most of the time felt okay.
Like, playing devil's
Yeah.
advocate here, though, I feel like anybody could say that you had a good ending to getting world record and pushing it so low. So just going for that final hop over, the last 0.9 seconds there, like you felt. Did you feel like you had to do that just because you were so close? You would you like regret it later not finishing it out, or how do you
Kind of. I
think
mean,
exactly?
I don't know if you can consider flag one wall kick into just missing 25 to be a good ending, but
Okay, all right, that's fair then.
Let's just say it's a
yeah.
legendary ending. Okay.
Well, the rest of the run is very, very much legendary up to that point. Like finishing. That's still a 7-4x summit that you're getting
Yeah.
on a huge pace there.
It was
best
an
in the world
incredible
pace.
summit. So it was an incredible summit up to that point, and that wasn't the only mistake in 3K as well. That the 3K entry in that summit was like 5:17 or something. It could have been like it was like 7:45, 44
So that
pace.
was actual 80% world record pace though, on like a really, really good, like nearly flawless 3K for you, right? Because you can get a 225 if I remember correctly, right? Or or you're like 226? I don't.
I have a 225, like a mid 225, I think. I don't know what my in run gold is, but
Yeah,
I think it's a 226 file time in run gold.
Yeah, so if you
yeah.
played to like best 3K though, at that point, that is legitimately Summit world record pace going into 3K there.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's still
Yeah.
a big ass because it's 3K, but that's still overall that Summit was incredible. The rest of the run having a pace that good was incredible. I feel like in that way you could say it's a bit of a good ending. But did the wall kick just hit you in just just the worst place to say I can't end on this?
Yeah, it was pretty anticlimactic if I just ended on that. Because it was like such a legendary summit and then
Yeah.
wall kick. And I also missed a wall bounce on flag 16 of all places.
Oh,
Which costs like a second.
yeah, I remember that as well. So that was the other major thing that you were thinking of for what happened in 3K.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Still though, you got it in the end now, I suppose. So congratulations yet
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Do you think you're
Thank
gonna
History.
play any more Celeste over the next couple of weeks here? Or are you like done? I can't. You're just gonna do something else. What do you think you're up for
I think
here?
I will. I'm pretty eager to get going with True Ending and see what I can do there because it's been a long time since I've played Farewell and that used to be my thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Until the thing happened, like you two were both like grinding no DTS for a while, and then DTS happened.
Ah, that was
Yeah.
so sad. Like DTS is so cool. Like looking at it now, DTS is
DTS
so
ruined
cool.
my life.
But I was so hyped for that. I really, really wanted to like go for 14 alongside you. That was like
Yeah.
that was so exciting of a thought back then. Yeah, just to clarify for anybody out of the loop here, DTS dash sugar skip for farewell is a trick where like basically is one of the very few glitches essentially in Celeste. And this trick was a way where you keep 2 dashes for about the first 2/3 of farewell. So that's a whole like 8 minutes of gameplay where you keep 2 dashes when you normally only have 1. And this trick was found and shown to the world while Isaac and I had both just finished grinding out 80%. We'd both just gotten 26s and we were looking to farewell for like the next thing we were going to do. And then only like a few weeks to a month into that, DTS was found after we'd already been grinding farewell throughout like those few weeks just beforehand. So we hit like a hard wall dead stop there where all the stuff we had learned had essentially been made much slower and it felt like a little bit like a waste of time to me. So it was really unfortunate timing. DTS is very cool. Very cool to see strats like that happen. Just at that moment for the two of us, that was not the best timing.
It was the worst timing because I remember the obviously DTS only affects up to determination checkpoint, and I had just
Or up to
finished learning
stubbornness.
determination. Yeah, so
Mhm.
determination is the last checkpoint where you get to keep the 2 dashes for the whole thing, and I had just finished learning determination that day, and then in that
Oh,
evening, DTS was
wow.
shown. So that was unfortunate, but obviously, it's allowed for a lot of cool barriers and a lot of cool speedruns to be done. So overall, like, it's a
Yeah,
really cool strat. It hurt at the time.
yeah, yeah, it definitely did. But farewell's come down, like a minute 20 seconds since then, mostly because of DTS, partly because of Hyken being an absolute gamer. And so that's been very, very cool too to see as well there. Just the time come down so significantly. And yeah, getting to the 13.2x was huge. I wonder how far it'll keep going, because I think it can go like maybe one day it's one of those things, like maybe one day somebody's going to actually get a 12-minute farewell. I think the sum of best is in the either high 12.4x or low 12.5x range, so that does seem very obscene to play that well over the course of about 13 minutes. But crazy stuff like that can happen sometimes, so maybe someday somebody will with that.
The current farewell world record is also already pretty crazy. Like playing so like actually pretty close for a level like farewell, because farewell is like so long and so difficult, and in Celeste you don't have a lot of like long levels without any break, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like hard to play well
Yeah.
over the course of like the 13 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you can take a break, but it's one of the levels where it makes sense.
No,
What do you
no.
mean now? It's still allowed. It's just time loss to save and quit. Time loss in the places where it's allowed. But yeah, that's a argument for another time, though. Yeah, so we got cut out of farewell at an unfortunate time, and so you're thinking of going back for more DTS though? I feel like you were practicing that occasionally, like here and there, and like
Yeah.
a month or two ago.
Yeah, I was, and then like because I wanted to get the 25 and then be able to jump into true ending pretty quickly, but then I kind of just wanted to focus everything on any percent because it was pretty clear that it was gonna take a lot.
Yeah, a lot of mental energy and time trying to
Yeah,
ram your head against yet again 0.9 second barrier.
yep.
I can relate to that. Wanting to do more, but having this one specific thing holding you back for a little while longer.
Yeah, it's also a good chance for me to revamp my core strats because
Oh
I've had a
my
lot of people
goodness.
telling me that my core strats are very outdated
Do,
for a
please
bit.
do.
I mean, Tiyo and I helped pave the way just recently. There's some very good strats you can take a look at yet again with like the Helton. How many has anybody else gotten 3.1x
Perfect.
since us? I think at least one person has, right? Another 3.1x, maybe.
It's just Tiyo and Aleph at the moment, right? I think.
And wait, Gooms has one, but Gooms
Just
doesn't have it
Gooms?
submitted.
Oh, it's
Oh.
not submitted. But yeah,
Oh, and Prof, I didn't even realize you
I got
had
it before Tiyo, yeah, and then
Yeah.
I kept like basically, badgering Tiyo about it. You need to get one too. Like I have no 3.1x L. Come on, get it on with old man. But...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Gooms has one. Also, Gooms is technically able to get a 3.0x, right?
Wait, what?
So, yeah, yes.
Huh?
Gooms' core is like something else.
Gooms is something else. Yes.
Wow. I did not know that. Because like my sum best just recently when I was doing it, I think was only in like 3.16 or something, 3.15 from when I was just that recent grind where it got 3.19 there. I only had a few seconds leeway at most. So hearing that 3.0x is in his sum best is that's wild.
Also, doesn't Gooms have a faster time than Aleph? Doesn't Gooms have like a 3.17 actually now?
I don't know.
I know
You'd
Gooms.
have to
I know
ask.
Gooms has a faster time than I do. I know that much.
Well, then what happened? Was it not verifiable, or you just didn't want to
No,
submit it? What's going on here?
It's just I don't know.
You just message him right now while we're here. We can
Couldn't be bothered,
see if we can
like-
get a response while we're still talking.
Maybe I even ask Gooms at some
Yeah.
point. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so your core strats right now though. Where would you say where are you at right now, Isaac?
I think my my just core cleared PB is like a high 3-3x or something. There's a lot of time saved left.
Just a little bit.
That's just from like playing all cassettes. Because I never bothered revamping my core strats for that. Because I was kind of just playing that category more as a joke than anything.
As a joke. Just like a
Well, just like as a, I don't want to play any percent right now, and this category is kind of similar, so I'll just run that.
the fun little aside, yeah. For true ending
Yeah.
though, what do you have like a particular goal in mind? Like, are you looking at the potential for 44, or you just want to play it and see where it goes? Just like you said, you might.
I'm thinking about 44 because I'm pretty sure Heiken's run currently gets like a 27:55 summit exit, so
Oh, that's
there's
a
a
huge
lot of time
range.
saved there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
Because
taking a
I
look at
can
it.
realistically get like a 26 3x if I have a really good any percent segment. And then I just have to not lose too much time in farewell.
Yeah.
Because I can guess like a 13 in this. So
Yeah, you're just gonna like do the
13:59.
inverse and hope to chip away a little bit more.
yeah. I mean, I'll get a decent farewell IL. I might go for a 13.
Mm-hmm. Very doable.
Just to have it. And so I can get maybe solid mid 14s in runs, and that should be enough to at least get the record. Maybe 44 if I have a really good any percent segment.
I think it's gonna be easier to get 44 than it was to get 25 if you do want to go for it though. So
It should be. It should be.
Yeah,
But
absolutely should be.
I have a history of choking in the last room of farewell, so
Oh.
I remember when I was going for I think a 51 true ending, I had a moment where I just missed the power box right at the end.
No.
Like by a couple pixels. Still PB'd that run. It was tragic. But yeah, eventually I ended up skipping 51, so it was worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something to look forward to though. Isaactayy 44
Yeah.
20% or 44 true ending.
44 80%. I think we're a bit past that.
A little bit, yeah. It's just like a couple years, pretty much.
I wish I had record of my 80% times from that kind of range because I didn't start recording until I had like a sub 40.
Do you have like a vague, at least memory that you could patch it out to? Because I like don't have recordings, but I remember how runs went for me pretty much from my first. Yeah, I know the minutes at least that I got along the way. Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have no idea.
Yeah, way back then, I was
Look
only
back
doing
on like
8%.
live split history though.
Oh, yeah, you might be able to find it there if you really dug for it, I think. Or maybe does the like the websites like the run.gg, do they show your whole live split history if you put it there?
They do actually.
Oh, so that would probably make it easier than trying to dig through all the metadata yourself. But yeah, for me,
They have a nice graph.
ooh. Oh, it's just like immediate graph you can check. That's so cool.
Yeah, it just has all of them. You can set it to show like all your runs or just PBs.
Shoutouts to the run GG.
Yeah, it's so good. And
I
the new
haven't used
live
it yet.
feature. So
Yes.
many pace pals.
I love pace balling, especially the offline runs.
The PacePal website. PacePaling offline runs. You just like pause frog and keep watching the website. Like when will the live split
Yeah.
update? Is that all you're doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I noticed like by looking at my Twitch analytics, it actually does help. Like it does bring viewers in.
How much does like just show you percentage and it's somewhere in the range of
Yeah.
5 to 10 or something?
It was at one point. It was actually around 20%.
Oh wow.
But I think it dropped to around 15. Let me see what it is now.
Well, that's still like 25-ish people, isn't it? 25, 30 people based on, you know, how things were going in terms of how many people are actually watching your runs.
Yeah, it's currently at 14%, so that's quite a lot.
Yeah, that's like 25 people, I think. Pretty significant. Cool. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to Isaactayy True ending. And then, of course, gotta plug it every opportunity here. Summer of Arb 2023
Summer of Arb
is going to be coming out.
I'll be there.
Yes.
Bubs might even be there because he's been playing some Ardberry stuff again recently as well, like posting some really
Some of the
wild
stuff
times.
he's been labbing.
Yeah, he just doesn't
Yeah,
post the
he's-
strats anymore. I don't think he's even in. Is he even in Celeste Cord? I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he said he doesn't feel like posting his strats anymore, and if people want them, they can just watch his run. I'm like, yeah, I guess fair enough. At least it's out there somewhere. It would be cool to have them posted. Maybe I'd start posting them in his name, just like copy him down and be like, here, this is how this works. This is time it saves. It's nice to have them in multiple places at least.
Also, I also have to check how Bobs does like the 3-up start demo, like to the left,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it seems like he has like a setup, but I have to like try. I have no idea how that works.
I think that one was one of the ones that was actually posted in Celeste Cord.
Was it?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's something entirely different.
Because it looks different, but I don't know.
The demo where you go left for the berries and
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
start.
Instead of the 3
Yeah.
falling pillars, you just demo below.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does,
he-
he does
The wall kick thing, he said it's like an easier one frame or something.
Oh my god.
It's still a one frame, it's just easier, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny.
But yeah, he's like doing the ARP IL sweep currently.
Oh, yeah.
Like
The result they posted was just insane.
Yeah, there are so many mistakes in it, but it's still like a 544 or 45. I forget the time exactly, but it's like looks like if there weren't those mistakes that happen in it, it's actually a 3x. And that's a whole
Yeah.
like 10 seconds over what I think Coral was having when he was in his, 45 era. So that's a huge jump there. But, Bubs, Arb Goat, best to ever do it. What else would you expect, I suppose?
comes back and absolutely destroys everyone again. Just the goat.
Yeah, quit Celeste speedrunning, as you do. Came back like, how long was it that he was gone for? I think I can check based on when I got my 7B time, because it was right around then I think that he stopped.
It's like gotta be a year by now, right?
Maybe a little bit less. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, it's been just about a year and maybe a month, year and a few weeks since he quit, and now he's back again. Okay, welcome back, Bubs. Anyway, I think that about was most of what we wanted to talk about here, unless either of y'all has anything else you're interested in bringing up here last moment.
I had two things. I know one thing was, because we completely, absolutely skipped it, was how Isaac even started speedrunning.
Oh, true. Good point.
Because that might be interesting. we just got from how Isaac heard about Celeste and into immediate 25 grind. We didn't talk about the steps between. Yeah, but yeah, Isaac, how did you start speedrunning this game?
So I was watching the 26 grind from TGH and Marlin. I'd pretty much wake up every day, watch TGH's stream because he was always live at that time, like in the mornings for me. And I think I just did a run. I didn't like ever plan on taking Celeste seriously. I just kind of opened the game, did a run, doing some hypers here and there. Got like a 1 hour 38-minute time or something along those lines.
Let's go.
Had you speedrun at all before Celeste, or was it like the first experience?
No. It was my first speedrun game. And still almost my own. I did the Portal glitchless 12-hour challenge, but apart from that, I haven't run anything else. But yeah, I kind of just on and off did runs without too much practice for a while. But then I obviously got down to like the sub 40 range, had to start actually practicing strats to improve my times, because eventually you just kind of hit a wall if you just keep throwing yourself at it without breaking things down. And then I think when I had like a 33 any percent time around the start of 2021, I found Ryan, or the 0815 show. It was kind of my first contact with the Celeste community, and from that point I started grinding a lot harder and pushing my times down.
Shoutouts to Ryan.
But yeah.
Well,
Shout out to Ryan.
shout out to Ryan. He's busy, so we can't we don't see the daily 6B room grind, or in general room grind streams anymore, which is sad. But I'm glad he is focusing on life.
Yeah, he's been
He'll be back soon.
So,
Back soon.
yeah,
Yes.
very happy for his little sub community that he got going for a while there. Because I don't think we would have had at least Isaactayy 25 if not for that. But there, he's got a good little corner going.
And there are a bunch of people who I only really know from like Ryan sub community, like the first time was from like Ryan's community, which were like Isaac, for example, App, Goobs, or Baba. And that brings me to my second point, because if for some of the listeners, if they check the leaderboards, maybe they have seen Baba Yeto, because Baba and Isaac are siblings. Sports Baba, like some sort of motivation also for you, because I think you inspired Baba to run, like you brought Baba, like you taught Baba to also run the game or something. I forgot what.
Yes, so I actually introduced Baba to Celeste in the first place, just as a casual game. Because I'd introduced him to Hollow Knight before that, and he really enjoyed that game, so I was like, you know what, might as well show him Celeste as well. And I think he saw that I ran it. I don't think I never actually intended to get him into speedrunning it. But he saw that I ran it and wanted to give it a try, and the rest is history, I guess.
The neat little pipeline.
The neat little pipeline. Like, you both are like really good at the game, which is honestly not that how do I say this? It's honestly kind of surprising that like both siblings are actually like really good at the same game.
Got the gamer bloodline there going on.
Gamer bloodline, yes.
Gaming flows through our veins.
No. I hope one day he'll be back to running. Go back for the 26 or whatever he wants to grind for, because he's very good at the game. Improved very quickly, especially over the any percent tournament. Yeah. At the moment he's very busy with university stuff, but hopefully
soon. I'm pausing.
Yep.
Also that reminds me the big Baba memes. Also Baba 6B was stupidly good earlier.
Oh, it was. I just love the clip of the Bubba 6B falling section where the commentators are going crazy over the Kevin resets and the 5 diags.
So Baba was one of the first person doing the crazy stuff in 6B for the
in full game
tournament.
Yeah. It's just an incredible clip where he just nails all of it, and it's just amazing.
Legendary.
Baba was like one of the first persons who actually did like a lot of the more stupid stuff in falling for them. Yeah.
Somebody's got to blaze the trail there. Get it going for people to follow through. Yeah. Thanks very much for coming on here, Isaac. It's been a fun time chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Thank you once again, everybody, for listening to this episode. It's been a long time since the last one, but
no way.
We had a bit of a break. Maybe we'll continue doing these more regularly. We'll see.
Who knows? We'll see. We should not promise anything.
No
Let's say that
promises
much.
yet, yeah, but because busy people, a lot of stuff going on for different people, but we hope to do more. I would say. Won't you agree, Tiyo?
I hope so. Yeah, I'm the one bugging you mostly. So
That's true. It's me. I'm
No,
the
it's fine,
one.
it's fine. I'm the one. Everything is Prof's fault now.
My bad.
But people are busy, and it's completely fine.
Yeah, follow Isaactayy on Twitch. Be excited for the potential for true ending for the future.
And Twitter and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Also follow Prof and Tiyo.
No.
Well, thank you.
We have everything in the description anyway. Also, Isaac, do you have any last words you want to say to people, to in general the community after your 25 last words? And that is this is so sad. No, or in general for people who might, after seeing the new minute barrier broken, that they want to start speedrunning Celeste or something.
Well, I guess first of all, just thank you to everyone who supported me or just watched the streams along the way. It was pretty incredible, just to see how many people were hyped about it. And for people who might be inspired, just go for it. Yeah, just start doing runs, start practicing.
Please
It's a
don't
lot of
copy
fun.
Isaac, though. Please
Don't copy my strats.
Not immediately.
but actually, do not copy world record level strats. Please, in this game, it's like a very bad idea.
That's another discussion for another time. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
anyway.
There are lots of resources for safer strats out there. But yeah,
the Celeste Discord is a great place to start. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thank you, and hopefully you'll hear from us next time.
Yeah. If my girl and Isaac are turning, catch me at my girl's funeral chanting 2559.